Hi everyone, welcome back to GoLocal Lab here in the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. We're here now with Wayne Salisbury of Salisbury Farms. He's here to speak about their upcoming corn maze to benefit a very good organization. So thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome.
We greatly appreciate it. So talk to us a little bit about this event. It's to benefit the New England Hemophilia Association. Talk to us a little bit about it.
We have done a number of these in the past where we benefit certain charities and groups. And this year we were approached by the Hemophilia Association to try to do something with them. And what we do, they help us and cooperate with us in designing a maze that emphasizes their needs and wants. And hopefully at the end of the year we'll have enough customers that we can share some financials with them.
That's always the goal, of course. And so speaking a little bit about hemophilia, it's a blood clotting disorder, relatively rare. And tell us a little bit about the organization.
You're asking the wrong guy. I know the executive director of the New England Association, and I think you will find if you do a little research, and I haven't done much, but it affects, these blood disorders affect a lot of people across the United States. I think his numbers were in the millions. And it's not only a bleeding disorder, but it's other things as well.
And that's surprising. A lot of times disorders like this you think aren't all that prevalent, but you'd be surprised sometimes.
Well, I've been surprised to find out how common they are. And hopefully we can provide some funds that'll help alleviate the problem.
And so speaking a little bit about the corn maze, you said you like to tailor the design to the organization you're benefiting. So tell us a little bit about this year's corn maze.
Well, I can show you a little bit. This is a picture of this year's corn maze.
We can
and
hold that up
I don't
right
know
here.
if that is able to be seen there. But we designed it around their theme and their logo. And each year we've been doing mazes now for 21 years. And a few years back we did one for Boston Strong, donated some money to them. And last year we did something for the Rhode Island Cancer Society. And we cooperated with the Rhode Island Hospital to do that. And this year we're doing one with these guys. And once we have decided who we're going to help or what the design is going to be, my son Stephen basically designs it around a 5-acre field, and we go from there. And hopefully it represents a good thing for them, or does a good thing for them and a good thing for us.
And so speaking a little bit about how you create the corn maze itself, you plant it in the pattern, is that correct?
No. We plant the field, and it's approximately 5 acres in size. We plant it solid, and we plant in 2 directions, so that when we're done, you actually have a grid, if you can look at it that way. Now, many places that do these things today use GPS to cut it out and so forth. We still do it the old-fashioned way. And once they've decided upon a design, they overlay that design on the number of rows in the field. And if you were to be there, you would think they were probably nuts, but my son Stephen and my son Keith actually go in the field and place markers at different points in the field that tell them where they have to go in cutting it out. It takes them 2 or 3 days to cut it. Whereas if you're using GPS, you just get a machine and the other thing that's noteworthy, we have to cut it when it's fairly short, because if you let it get too tall, you don't know where you are.
That was going to be my next question of how do you make sure you're in the right spot in the field?
Well, once again, we've got a grid, we've got stakes that show you where we are, so many rows over, so many rows up, and it's all plotted out. But once it gets beyond a certain point, corn continues to grow, and once it gets to be about 5 feet tall, then you're in deep trouble and you can't see where you're going.
And well, that's what makes a corn maze fun, but
That's right.
not so much for
Not
when
so
you're
much
trying to cut it out.
And believe you me, in 21 years we've made every mistake you can possibly make. We had one year that the geese came in and ate the corn. We had another year where they waited just a little too long and they're on step ladders trying to figure out where the next spot was. We've had another year, we used to, when we were marking it out, the first thing we would do is go in with a lime machine like you would use in a baseball field or football field and lime the paths that we were going. Well, the boys got it done, all limed, ready to go, and that night it rained about 2.5 inches.
Oh no!
So the next day they went to go and cut it out, and guess what?
Back to square one.
No lines anywhere, so they had to start all over. But they become pretty expert at getting it done. And once we decided on a theme, we placed signs within the maze that not only let the people have fun, but provide a little bit of education.
So these signs, they talk to you about the organization you're benefiting?
They'll tell you a little bit about the organization. They tell you, approximately how many people are affected with this type of disease. And they also tell you some of the things that they're going to try to do with the money that we raise.
That's fantastic. So not only is it just a fundraiser, it's also helping to raise awareness about these different organizations as well.
In fact, when I was approached through Rich, who was the executive director, I had no idea that, of what hemophilia even was. I mean, I knew it existed, but I didn't know it was so widespread, and they don't get the attention that the cancer societies do and the other charities that we normally think of.
Of course, it's like I said, hemophilia is a lesser known disease,
right.
So it's good to raise awareness as well, just so people know just how widespread this issue really is. And so when it comes to the corn maze, when do you open to the public?
Well, we're already open. We open normally the first week in September, but we're having our grand opening this Saturday, and Rich has planned an operation where he's got people coming in, and that will build awareness as well, and it will benefit both us because our attendance will go up, we hope, and it will benefit the organization because we'll have more money to share with them.
Fantastic. And how much is it to go through the corn maze?
It varies a little bit, but normally about $9 or $10. There are some evenings we have that are a little bit higher, but somewhere in the vicinity of $10.
All right. And how long does it run through?
Well, this year we're running through November 4th. Basically, we usually stop at Halloween, but Halloween is in the middle of the week and there's a couple days, and we figured we'd stay open and
Might as well finish it off.
Might as well finish it off. So
if it's anything like this month, it won't be cold just quite yet.
Oh, I hope not. I hope it cools off a little bit because the weather we've had these last few days aren't conducive to running through a field of corn.
It is. It's definitely a bit hot to be out in out in the field.
It certainly is. It's hot to be outside, period.
It is. It is. Absolutely. And when people come to your corn maze, do you provide with maps or no? I know some corn mazes will and some won't.
Yeah, we do. We give them a guide. However, I will tell you, if you were to come and get lost in our corn maze, don't call me to get you out. You can call one of my kids or some of the help we have, and they've got it down pretty pat, but I'm awful at this. And even when I use the map, because there are no street signs. You're walking around, and in fact, if you take a look here, this is a relatively good map of the maze, which emphasizes the Hemophilia Association. You start here, and they keep going and going, but there are no signs that tell you where to turn.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of twists and turns here. I know a lot of times you'll get just a general picture. I know last year I did one shaped like a tractor, and we weren't aware that we were stuck in one of the wheels for quite some time.
Yeah, we've over the years we've discovered that if it's a square design, similar to what we think of as mazes, it's a little bit easier. But when you go in circles, it really messes you up.
Well, it's harder to see, okay, I turned left here, I turned right there, when you're just kind of
and we
wandering
find
along.
little tricks that people use all the time. Because this is real corn, some people will take an ear and they'll take the kernels off the corn and drop them along the way so they think they know where they're going to go. But we have people in the maze that go along and kick that out of the way, so it doesn't always work.
No Hansel and Gretel paths
no.
throughout. Do you ever have people who get tired and just forge through, come out the side?
Yeah, that has happened. We've, for the most part, we avoid it because we provide emergency exits around the outside. I think this year there are about 6 of them. And if you've had enough, we would prefer, rather than forcing yourself through the corn, which destroys it for the next person that comes in, we'd prefer you try to find an exit that's an emergency exit and get yourself out that way. And every once in a while, not too often, but every once in a while we run into a situation where a person or a family will get lost and they give up the ghost and say, call us and come and get us because we're lost and can't get out. And it's funny that you even mentioned that, because when we first started, cell phones weren't as prevalent as they are today.
That's true.
So we used to provide walkie-talkies for people.
In case they got
and
lost?
And they would call us on the walkie-talkie. But now we don't need to. We just stand by the phone, and if an emergency call comes in, we send somebody in to get them.
That's pretty funny. I didn't think of that. What people would do before
Right.
before cell phones if you got stuck and there's nothing but corn all around you. So how long have you been doing these corn mazes? What got you into them?
Well, we heard about a company that was in Pennsylvania that was doing one. And we also had some information that they were doing different things in France and England with mazes. And we started to do a little research. We contacted the people in Pennsylvania and got some basic information from them. And they had agreed at one point to come up and actually prepare our field for the maze. But when we found out how much it was going to cost, we decided we're going to do it ourselves. And I have an advantage over some places in that my son is an engineer, makes it a little easier to do
Very
all
helpful.
this planning. And the other one is a pilot, and he can take the pictures, the overhead pictures, what people like to see.
So you guys were ready-made for corn mazes.
Right, I guess we were. And it's been fun. I mean, it's something that provides some revenue to keep the farm going, and it's entertaining for a lot of people. And a vast majority of the folks that come, they enjoy it. So
It's always a lot of fun to go out with your family, your friends, go get lost for an afternoon.
as long as it isn't forever.
As long as it isn't forever. When in
Right.
doubt, you can always call the number and get rescued.
That's right.
And at the end of the season, do you just mow it down and start
Well,
over?
at the end of the season, it's what you call field corn. It's not sweet corn, but different farms will use it for feed. So we go in and chop it, or cut it down, as you say, and it makes silage, and it's trucked off and fed to the cows and other animals that can tolerate the corn.
Fantastic. So it doesn't go to waste and
No.
helps local
And
farms as
if
well.
there is any that's left over, because it's so densely packed, we will sometimes run over stalks and stalks fall down, but even that serves to fertilize the ground. So it's like a mulch that you're placing on your garden.
That's
And
true.
so nothing is wasted.
That's wonderful. And so you said this weekend's the grand kickoff.
A grand kickoff,
And
and Rich Pizzulli will be down, and I don't know, he's a fantastic guy, and has arranged all kind of publicity to come to the farm that day and for the kickoff.
fantastic. And what are the hours of the event?
His event starts at 10 o'clock and probably will last a couple of hours. The main speaking part will be somewhere around 11. And he's also arranged for members of his group who are involved in the Hemophilia Association to be there to partake of the maze and to have a little food and entertainment.
Sounds like it'll be a very fun event. And what's the address so people can find you?
Oh, we're at in Johnston on Plainfield Pike. I think it's exit 6, and you go west from there, and we're 2.5 miles on the right.
All
On
right.
the corner of Peck Hill Road and Plainfield Pike.
All right. Well, best of luck. Hopefully it's a nice big turnout this weekend.
And we send a special invitation to you guys to come out and get lost.
Thank you very much. And so if you're looking for something fun to do this weekend or maybe a little later in the month through October, come check it out and help benefit a great organization. Thank you so much to Wayne Salisbury from Salisbury Farms for coming in today to talk to us about the maze. It was a pleasure having you.
Well, it was fun being here.
Thank you. And we'll be right back with our last guest of the hour right here on Go Local Live.